Hello and welcome to a slightly different Hubnut video, because this time, because it's Mental Health Awareness Week, we're going to talk about mental health. Specifically mine, because on the face of it, I'm very happy. I have a lovely lady, lovely family, a lovely part of Wales. Everything is amazing. And I'm really enjoying aspects of this job at the moment. I'm loving some of the filming, some of the cars I've been testing, the museums I've been visiting, all brilliant. However, I have a real problem with tinkering at the moment, which you're probably all too aware of.
Yes, I mean, you were reluctant to even come up here this morning.
Yeah, I don't know what it is.
And this is bearing in mind that, well, we've now got 7 cars in the unit instead of 6, so
someone has done some heroic work tidying up.
A massive clear out, but
yeah, and I've got tea up here. It's nice and peaceful, and yet I don't want to be here, and I'm not sure why.
I mean, we try and go through all the possibilities. The Ellie job is taking a bit longer than anticipated.
Yeah, Ellie is sat over there, and every time I think I'm getting somewhere, I end up taking a step backwards, especially as I'm very good at making a mess of things. And I think that's probably the crux of the problem. I think I'm absolutely rubbish at working on cars. You may disagree.
I do disagree. I think you're amazing at everything that you do, and I spend a lot of my time trying to boost you up.
You do, and then all that does is then make me feel worse, because I know she's because you're having to dig into your reserves to try and boost me when I know you've got your own sort of problems and the tough life of bringing up children. Good grief, it's exhausting. But that's not what's making me reluctant to do this. I mean, yes, it's exhausting, but it's also rewarding, and we've managed to have a really nice time.
I think you underestimate quite how much Ellie means to your mental health, because she's been a part of your life for 20 years and
21 years this summer.
21 years.
Yeah, cheapers.
But when you can't drive her, it visibly drains on you.
Yeah, that's probably a thing. She's been off the road for weeks now because I'm just dismantling more and more of her. We've got the rear bumper is just under the camera at the moment, so that
Much
came
cleaner.
off today. Yeah, so eventually there will be an update on the paint, but I would like to actually achieve something that I think is okay before I finish that video. And I think that's it. We've had that PT Cruiser is lurking around and needs a few jobs doing, and it's not always joyous to work on that car. And the whole Rover alternator saga, which was mostly my fault. I should have researched.
I think you
first.
also run on success as well.
Yeah.
So when a job is simple and it goes right, you get a real high from that. But when, like the alternator, that really was a dark moment.
Yeah, that went very
wrong. The Rita
wrong.
alternator, that really was a dark moment.
I don't help myself, to be honest, because I so often just run into jobs and don't do planning and stuff. Can you believe it?
You just said this on camera.
You believe it?
Does this mean you're going to do some planning?
I need to do some planning. Yes. I mean, just keeping on top of all the maintenance the fleet needs is proving hard work. I would love to get the GSA looked at by people who actually know what they're doing rather than me, because I'm still new to GSAs and I don't really know my way around them that much. But even just trying to arrange that has been a ball ache. You phone companies, they don't answer the phone. You message people, they don't respond, and yeah, you just end up getting stuck in a bit of a rut. So yeah, I guess there's a bit of that going on.
But it is, I mean, this is probably the most challenging time ever for people, for their mental health, because everybody's been locked down. I mean, they were talking on the news yesterday about the rise in alcohol deaths, and that's, that relates to mental health as well. It's something that can numb those any issues that you might have, isn't it?
Yeah, it's a way of feeling like it's easing the pain. It's actually making things worse.
But I mean,
I suppose my equivalent to that is car purchasing. When my mood is low, I buy cars.
Yes.
Yeah. So
oh no, we've made space.
Why have we been making space?
Oh dear God.
And
you know what, even the happiest people have their struggles, because I mean, I didn't anticipate when I went from doing what I was doing to Hubnut quite how much that would impact me, because I'm somebody that's you probably realise I'm quite systematic. I'm organised, I'm planned. We are the
They
polar,
say opposites attract.
the polar opposites of each other. And I'd been doing something where I'd carved out a niche for myself, and I was very good at what I did. It's not very British to go, oh yeah, I was so good at what I did.
And that can be part of the problem as well, that we are so reserved and we so hate people who boast. But you should be proud of doing something well.
Yeah.
And
But
that's another problem in this country, but we're not proud enough of the people we should be proud of.
But then I started doing this, and the reality is I don't know all that much about cars. I'm learning all the time. I'm constantly reading up about cars, constantly watching videos about cars, constantly asking him questions so that I know as much as I possibly can, because I like to be a specialist in what I do. I'm learning to drive, so hopefully that will... But I just felt a little bit like I lost myself. I felt really dramatically like I lost myself. Because I didn't have a set out job role, and it wasn't something that I knew enough. In my previous role, I'd sort of created a role, and it's now something that's run out across the whole company, which is totally amazing. But coming into this world, I didn't know where I was, and I've very quickly started to lose myself, and that impacts massively on my mental health. If I don't feel like I'm succeeding and achieving, that impacts massively on my mental health. So I felt lost. And the problem with that, with me personally, is the personality type that I am. If you're into that kind of thing, I'm a very blue, and I start to go in on myself when it just seems like bizarre that I lose myself, so I go further in on myself. And I just got very lost for a little while. But I found my feet now. I've cleaned the unit, probably cleared out my headspace as well.
And my working space,
And
yay!
your working space. But I've found a bit of my identity as well. So Miss Hubnut is mine now.
Yeah, your own channel.
You're not just that, but it's mine and it's me, and it's not trying to be something that I'm not, and that helps as well, I think. But yeah, having that, and of course we've all been at home. I've been home educating and everything, so I really did lose myself.
Yeah, but we had some very dark moments. We did some filming with Shemi you have never seen, because it went so spectacularly badly. I mean, I ordered the wrong part, which didn't help. But I'm also a rubbish teacher, which I think is because I have no confidence in my own skills. And I don't know what I'm doing. So I'm trying to teach someone how to work on a car, but I don't actually know how these brake calipers come apart, because I've never dismantled that type of brake caliper before. And brake calipers are all different and all have their own little idiosyncrasies. So even though we present as always happy and everything, there's times we are definitely not. And I think one of the biggest problems with this country, our stiff upper lip, the attitude, you don't talk about these things, you don't mention your mental health struggles. And I think as a society we're starting to get a bit better with that, but the whole reason for having this discussion is because these discussions are helpful, hopefully.
And she could kill me, we have a teenager who is suffering with very real anxiety, very real anxiety, and it's manifesting physically.
Yeah, and I can at least relate some real life experiences to try and help her with that. I used to get so nervous and anxious before any public speaking or an interview scenario, something like that, but I would make myself physically unwell. And that's something I've learned to come to terms with. Going out for food is still a tricky subject for me.
And we go tentatively with that, don't we?
I've had to learn how to do it, so at least I can relate.
Another way
you can get over this. You will get these waves of anxiety, but they do subside, and you've kind of got to learn to ride them a bit, really.
Yes, absolutely. And that's true of it doesn't matter who you talk to, as long as you talk to somebody. I mean, you're my vent, bless you.
Oh.
You're my vent. But no, I am so much happier now. I've found my little niche, and I'm doing my little videos.
And doing more and more of the merchandise.
The merch.
Oh my gosh, I was fairly chaotic. Is it fair to say? Back in the can you believe it?
He's forbidden from touching the merch.
Yeah, I'm not allowed to touch the merchandise anymore because I make such a mess of it.
But yeah, even the happiest people can not be. It can be a
Yeah,
facade.
I think it can actually be worse if you're seen as a happy person, because I think there is this pressure and that you can't possibly be having dark moments because you've got the perfect life and you live in a beautiful place, you have a lovely job. Why are you depressed? I know quite a few of my colleagues in the world of motoring journalism suffer very much with their mental health, and I think that you've got the perfect job doesn't help. But they're like, I shouldn't be feeling like this. It's not justified for me to feel like this. But brains aren't always logical.
No.
Is the simple
I know,
thing to say here, really. Brains don't make sense.
No. And I mean, I talk about the personality profile. I did a personality profiling as I was part of management and all this stuff. And we did personality profiling. And the absolute reality there for me is that the person that I am internally is in absolute contrast, absolutely opposite ends of the scale to that person that I project. And that can be very hard to uphold, as you say. That can be really difficult to uphold, that when people think you are that person. And when I was working in the job that I was working, and similarly with doing things on YouTube, I was doing sort of, not motivational, but that kind of thing. Motivational speaking. I was the person that was pushing forward the ethos of the company, which was all very positive. So everybody always thought I was the embodiment of that. I don't want to use the words because it sounds cliched.
No,
it sounds cliched. But I was the positive embodiment of positivity, and every day, all day, every day, people would come to me and they want to tell me their stories and everything. And 99.9% of the time, I would reciprocate genuinely, but sometimes you'd be dying inside and people still want more from you.
Yeah, it does get very difficult. But, yeah. It's a strange old business, mental health.
This week is actually Maternal Mental Health Week.
Oh, as we're recording this. Sorry, when you see this, it will just be generally Mental Health Awareness Week.
But, I mean, that's a whole battle in itself. Whether you're a single mum, you're a mum with a partner, however you mother, that can be a challenge at all different stages. But I think that one of the beautiful things that for us personally has come through the lockdown is that we are honest about the way that we're feeling. I know when I was a single mum, and I was a single mum for several years, I would hide everything from them. So if there was a moment where they wound me up, to be upset, to be angry, whatever, I would put it in a little box and I would hide it until I was on my own, and I would make sure that they didn't know I was crying or I was angry or anything like that. But there have been moments where it's been really dark in lockdown where I've just cried. I remember one particular point where I was absolutely sobbing because I just missed everybody and I missed everything. And little Mini Hubnut heard me, and he came up and he was crying because he felt the same. And we actually just talked it all out. And you know what? All those years of hiding it away, the most beneficial thing is that we share it.
And it's not easy. I'm not particularly comfortable talking about my mental health, yet here we are doing it on camera. It is very difficult to ask for help.
But you've progressed with that because we always talk. We always talk. If your mood is slightly off, we talk.
Yeah, we get to the bottom of it, and it's not always easy because people don't always want to admit what is bugging them at any particular time. But it is so very important to do. Going back to my own anxiety, it got to the stage where I was so crippled going out for food, but eventually I had to go and see my GP. And I didn't want drugs. I didn't want some magic solution to just like, oh, press a button and I'm fixed, because I know that's not how brains work. And it was just a few sessions of counselling was so useful. And I'm not really aware of the counsellor saying an awful lot, but
lots of people.
But then the training of a counsellor is the listening, and they are very good at just letting you unwind what's bugging you. So that was well worth doing. And we're going back 20 odd years, probably around the time I got Ellie, but this was becoming a massive crippling issue. And just those few sessions just helped me get my brain in order. And I'm not saying I don't get nervous. I'm not saying I necessarily find social gatherings comfortable. Some people think I'm really comfortable, I apparently give off an air of confidence in a social situation, but I am bricking it. I don't fully understand all the protocols.
You quite like to send me in first.
Yeah, and but you know, the Hubnut social meets I've had, I'm often quite uncomfortable and just trying to hide that effectively. So yeah, be aware that you aren't struggling on your own. Everyone has
No.
their own struggles.
No,
and this is something we're all in together.
Yeah, and do you know what? Because of my personality type, I held it all in, and if you hold, it's going to come out somewhere.
Yeah, it will just explode.
It
It
comes
will
out
erupt.
somewhere because
Yeah.
for me, it comes out in my sleep, or rather, lack of sleep. I have massive insomnia. I talk in my sleep. I sleepwalk.
I need to record some of the talky things. They're
But
hilarious.
because I won't let it out in the day, it then tries to come out at night, and you know, I'm so tired when I'm going through those phases because I'm not sleeping, and if I am sleeping, I'm having horrific nightmares, or I'm talking, or I'm walking, or moving things around, or moving myself around, so it comes out.
Yeah. So yeah, I think that's probably about where we need to be. Hopefully that's been useful. Obviously we'll get back to the car content in the next video, but we thought it important to just take a moment just to have a think about our own brains, your brains. So yeah, look after
But
yourselves.
on a
and-
positive note, something that I've noticed being part of a weird car Twitter,
that's a
and
lovely community.
the Hubnut community,
Yeah.
is how much people look after each other.
Mm.
You know, if there's an issue with your car, or if there's an issue with you personally, everybody is there to help. And you know, I'm a little bit oddball, and you're a little bit oddball,
Shocking.
but we fit in,
Yeah.
and that's lovely. And there's so many people that have said, I love being a part of this community because I fit. And if you're somebody that's not done that in your life, that's amazing to find
Yeah.
your people.
Yeah, it's a great thing, and it's one reason we call Hubnut socials, is because, well, people come probably to meet me in the cars. What it always turns into, every single social we've held, is groups of people who didn't know each other standing around chatting, and it's just lovely to see. So I cannot wait to start doing that again later this year.
With our 50 million wish t-shirts.
Yeah, lucky dip, tombola or whatever, we'll sort something out. So yeah, thank you very much for watching. I hope that's been useful, and we both look forward to seeing you in a future video. Farewell.
Did you pursue it? Is it a note or a nut?
Oh, it's definitely a nut.